Okay, folks, we are live. How you guys doing? This is Deviant Dave on the show Who Asked Deviant Dave. I'm glad you are viewing. Me today, morning again. Trying to wake up real quick because I'm not the best morning person. But for you, I'm gonna shake that off. I'm trying to think what has been concerning me lately. I think this is just like money and changes in the economy and things like that. Prices going up. Jobs are okay and booming. Trying to make moves. I had a homie that starting some businesses and things like that. So hopefully that will pick up really well. Um, See, honestly, the topics we got today kind of interesting. So I'm not gonna start with my usual rant on what concerns me. I'm just gonna jump right in it. All right. So I hope everybody's doing good. And let's have a good show. So, what we gonna start with? All right, let's start with the NY. Gotta love the NY. I know some people don't like the NY. And for the people, a lot of people that don't like the NY, they haven't really been to the NY because they scared. They hear all these little stories and shit about the NY. Honestly, NY cool with me. Okay, got a lot of lively people, different people of all kinds, statuses, races, uh, genders, whatever. I was talking to a buddy one time and they were worried about the rats. I'm like, the rats is the least of your problems in New York. All right. Some people were worried about the homeless, but that's a whole nother story. So, why are we talking about the NY? Well, there's a school, Dalton School, and there's a teacher that's teaching first graders masturbation. Can't make it up. Some people think it's cool, but the parents are a tad bit outraged. So, come on, computer, if I could just show you what this article says. Man, technology is not working with me today. Come on, tech. Don't embarrass me, tech, in front of my peeps. All right. So this is the International Business Times. It says NYC school teaches first graders about masturbation. Parents enraged report. New York City's Dalton School received complaints about first graders being taught lessons that included masturbation. School administrators told parents they misinterpreted the curriculum of teacher Justine Infante. Parents are criticizing lessons anonymously out of fear of retaliation. Okay. So it goes on to say a private school in Manhattan, New York, it's Manhattan, has received complaints from parents after it was revealed that first graders were being taught sex education lessons that included masturbation. School administrators of the 55,000 per year, dang, for first graders. Dalton School told parents that they had misinterpreted the curriculum of teacher Justine Fonte. The New York Post first reported a video titled "Help Kids Learn That Bodies Are Private" of a cartoon Fonte used in one of her sex education classes for 6-year-olds featured little kids and adults discussing erections and masturbations. Let's just kind of skim through it. Fonte reassured parents that she does not use the word masturbation in class. According to the report, she claimed that her lessons teach kids not to touch themselves in public. Children were also taught about consent, which one unnamed mother told the New York Post was valuable in protecting kids from abuse. But another anonymous mom said it was extreme for kids to tell their own parents or grandparents to not touch them without first asking for permission. The parents spoke on a condition of anonymity out of the fear of retaliation. All right, you see it. I read it. My thoughts. So, the obvious negative is that you got kids at first grade being taught this early. Now, negative with this, I think, is that sometimes when you teach, especially young kids, things they don't know. You're actually introducing them to shit they don't know. So while they're innocent in their little world, thinking about candy and cartoons and other shit, they are getting introduced by teachers masturbation, which they probably never really heard the word before. Actually, I take that back. She doesn't teach them the word, but she teaches them about erections and touching themselves, not touching themselves in public, and all that kind of nonsense. And sometimes when you shed light on things, it kind of brings unnecessary attention sometimes. Sometimes you're teaching them things, even though you're teaching them the opposite. I've seen kids take all their lessons and learns and just throw it right back in your face, and they're first graders. I don't know about kids and when they start feeling it in their pants, but at least they know what to look for and try to go for it. Thing is just kind of introducing just a tad bit early. I still believe that you should wait until they're getting closer to that time. When you see your son checking out some asses and shit like that. I mean, there are kids who are more conscious earlier, but still kind of introducing to them. But on the flip side, see, when I read this, that was my initial thought. On the flip side, this is New York. And I'm not just going to point to New York. This goes for a lot of big cities, Chicago, Cali, big places. Kids are fucking, I hate to say this, but it's a lot of young kids that get introduced to it early. I mean, there are repercussions to living in a jungle. Like I said, you get introduced to a lot of different stuff. And from what I've seen, there's a lot of youngins in the city that are doing it long before you ever consider it to be okay. So it's a really tough subject because I mean, city kids, man, they do all kinds of nasty stuff. I mean, you got rappers that talk about it from their youth and things like that. Do they turn out normal? Not necessarily. Can it be controlled and educated the right way? I guess that's what's up to debate when it comes to this topic. So I'm a little bit in between it. Honestly, I think it probably should. And this is Manhattan, so you got rich people be kind of weird, especially sexually. I mean, introducing things and telling everybody that they're this and they're that before they even know who they are themselves. So with that said and done, maybe it should fly. And kids probably already touching each other. And I know that sounds bad, disgusting, but anybody with eyes and ears and that have seen these things in the city know that these kids are probably there. So take the time out, look at that. I thought that was a very interesting article. It's not really the first time a teacher has done that, but I don't know. I think it's because the outrage from the parents is what really stemming things, making it look too bad. But yeah, how do you guys feel about that? Let me know in the comments. It's up to you guys. All I know is that the way television is, the way our society is forcing everybody to not only be sexually active and to be something that they're not, or basically using trends to make things seem okay when they're probably not. Phew, you gotta do something to help these kids, right? That's all I gotta say about that. Speaking of kids, I don't know if anybody heard about this lady because she's, I don't know, she's kind of trending a little bit. This woman right here. Now, she is a Texas mother that has snuck into a school and basically she was impersonating as her daughter. She snuck into a school and basically just went to all the classes and things like that just to prove a point. Let's take a look at the article, because the thing is with this topic is that you have, I think it's kind of becoming a little trend because she's not the first person to really do this as of recent. There was another woman that did the same thing, but she didn't really have like a real legitimate reason. But let's go to this. Deputies with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office arrested Casey Garcia, 30. Oh, damn, she's same age as me. Of after the woman was accused by the local school district of trespassing on school grounds, posing as a student. Independent School District notified the sheriff's office about the incident on June 1st. Deputies were also alerted on several social media posts circulating online with allegedly documented the incident. One of the videos is titled "Going to School as My 13-Year-Old Daughter," middle school edition. That's cute. Video shows a woman wearing a yellow hoodie and a black face mask taking selfies in the restroom and eating in what appears to be a school cafeteria. Deputies met with school administrators who identified a woman as Garcia. Detectives conducted an investigation and obtained 2 criminal warrants for Garcia on charges of criminal trespass and tampering with government records. Deputies later located Garcia at her residence and took her into custody. Garcia also documented her encounter with authorities on social media. She's booked in an El Paso County detention facility on both charges and for unrelated traffic warrant. Her bonds total is about $8,000. She shared videos. I'm not really going to play them. I did listen to them. I don't know. The funny thing is about people in situations like this, it's like, one, the first question is this: why'd you do it? And this lady leaves the video going on a rant about everything else but the main reason of why she did it. And I'm like listening to the whole thing. I'm like, that's all cool. That's cute. Kind of see your points. But why did you do it? She didn't really clarify that, but she kind of egged on the fact that my opinion is this: she probably had like concerns about the school, which is very true. I'd be honest on the behalf that it's pretty easy to get into schools. And then this one is supposed to be a middle school. How short is she to be able to just pass through it like that? But anyway, it's pretty easy to get into schools. And I think that was the point that she was trying to make. That basically the protocols to keep these kids safe is iffy. So she is trying to teach everybody, especially concerning parents, that anybody could just walk in and then God knows what could happen to them, right? But here's the thing: people like this I don't know if they really think about the repercussions of their actions. I think that, and this goes for a lot of situations, you may think in your head you're doing it out of good intentions, but when you get out to the real world after doing that, it doesn't really come across that way. So with that said and done, just because you are a concerning mom and want to prove a point doesn't mean you should. With that said and done, now you're on charges of trespassing, false identification, other mishaps and things like that. And who knows how that's going to go on your record, only to prove what? And I mean, there's other ways to prove how to get in there, but I mean, maybe that was the thing. Maybe she came in there with the intention, waiting for the repercussions and stuff like that. I mean, she didn't like cry or break down and go crazy or anything. I think she was really strong as far as her point on doing that. The thing is that once you start posting it on social media, kind of made it look kind of glam going in there, which is the point. I mean, but it is a sticky topic on behalf, like, you a grown ass person going in with a bunch of kids that don't look right either way. And then you post it on social media, on Instagram, and expecting everybody to follow behind you because you have good intention. And it's like, there are better ways to do it. I mean, they got programs where maybe you can like jump into shit. This could be like a TV show. Get like a clearance with the school first or something like that, just to prove a point, which I mean, I know it ain't that easy. But the end of the day, was it worth it? I don't know. You proved your point, but you still got a bunch of issues with it. Um, what was I trying to go with this? Point is, I don't know what it is with people my age. I'm not gonna go use the word entitled, but like a lot of bright ideas don't really seem like bright ideas, especially nowadays. You got COVID, uh, all kinds of different things going on, weird people. No offense, I'm not saying that all kids are dirty, but I mean to put yourself in a situation like that, it's a little interesting. Kind of creepy a little bit, but again, like I said, when people think that they're doing it for good intentions, that for some reason might absolve them. I don't know. I chose this article because again, it is along the fence. I don't know. I had when I started re-googling this article again. I mean, Google was naming her by her like actual name, so I don't know. She might be trending with it, but with that said and done, was it worth it? We don't know. But case proven. I don't know. You tell me in the comment section. Is it worth it? You as a parent, would you do it? Or are you thinking that this lady got a little bit too much to do on her time? Probably are other more sophisticated ways to get this job done. But hey, people my age are super bold. I don't know. I think it was in good intention, but also I think it was the way she presented it was very entertainment purposes kind of thing. Um yeah. But if you want more, go check it out. Watch her video. She goes on like a long rant until she really gets to the point of what she's trying to say. I hope this doesn't become a big thing because this, like I said, there was like one or two other women that did the same thing. I don't know why grown women are really doing this because if a guy were to do this, like, look, I was like told the other day, I look like I'm 11. I'm gonna be 30 years old in a couple of weeks. So, if I were to shave, dress more in a youthful attire and things like that, put a mask on me, I'm like a 6'0" fucking 14-year-old. Some of these kids, yeah, their hormones come in real quick. Me, I was late. It took a while for me to get home. I can't and things like that. You got kids that are shaving by the time they even reach 16 and thinking about pussy and things like that. So, I mean, look, my generation, we old now. Can't be getting away with teenage mentality and things like that. Like, you are held accountable as an old person. Keep that in mind, people, before you do some off the grid kind of shit like that. I don't know. Good intention. I think it was bad execution. I don't know if you could have gotten clearance to do something like that, but yeah. Next topic. Let's talk about the Army. Please, whoever's a vet, I have nothing against you. Okay. I'm not going to say anything derogatory. I don't want anybody after me. I'm not a very violent or a very person of conflict that's willing to go around fighting people and things like that. But in right now, one thing, and it's been in discussion for a while, is the whole male draft topic. Let me bring up this article real quick. All right. So this is ABC News. Hold on, let me take this off again. So you can see. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so this is ABC News. It says High Court won't review men only draft registration law. All right, so the Supreme Court said that for now it'll be up to Congress, not the court, to decide whether to change the requirement that only men must register for the draft. It's one of the few areas of federal law where men and women are still treated differently. In a statement, 3 justices said Congress is weighing whether to change the Military Selective Service Act, which requires men but not women to register for the draft when they turn 18. They said that was a reason for the court to kick the matter back to lawmakers. In recent years, bills to require women to register for the draft have been proposed in the House, but not gone anywhere. Just last year, however, a congressional commission concluded that the time is right to extend the obligation to register to women. The Senate Armed Services Committee held a hearing on the report this year. Sotomayor pointed to the report, and the hearing suggested Congress is currently studying the issue. The question of whether it's unconstitutional to require men but not women to register could be viewed as one with little practical impact. The last time there was a draft was during the Vietnam War, and the military has been all volunteer since. But women's groups are among those arguing that allowing the man-only requirement to stand is harmful. Thought this was very interesting. My thing is with it is that unconstitutional, since when does the government care about following the Constitution to the T? You know what I mean? Nowadays, it's 2021. We're like bending rules left and right. But when it comes to this, it is unconstitutional. Now, from my perspective on this, as a traditional male, man that cares for the other side and things like that, putting a woman on the war side of things and a male kind of dominated aspect of when it comes to war, I mean, it's not my concern to be worried for you, but man, women on the lines of war are so targeted in so many aspects. And by that I mean, I'll just say it out there. I mean, when it comes to war, God is hard to find during war. And by that I mean all the bad and the ugly is going to be on the table, no rules. And I mean, we've already seen how war affects soldiers and things like that, being blown to pieces and everything like that. But like women on the war lines, and this goes for both sides. I mean, women are very, very targeted for torture and for rape and all those kinds of things. And that goes for both sides, the enemy, and I don't care what anybody says. And I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you're an Army vet, and I know it's not always the case, but there was a point, and it probably is still going. A lot of females in the Army get treated very disrespectfully. There's a lot of, I don't know if you want to just call it sexual harassment, but there are documentaries that talk about a lot of women that were victimized and treated like meat and nothing, even within their own squads. You got male soldiers in commanding positions that are getting away with terrible things that they've done with women. And when women go to court against the Army, most of the times they don't even get there, or they just flat out lose. And the thing is, if you don't know, that the Army court, even though they are an extension of the US government, they're pretty much their own separate bracket. Like the military is their own separate bracket practically. They don't really take their soldiers to other courts. They do their own courts usually. And with that said and done, they have the home plate. And there's tons of cases where female soldiers aren't getting the justice for what happened to them when they were in the military. Then the best part, when they are brave enough to get these cases out there, to get justice for themselves for what happened, they lose, and they lose their what's it called when veterans get paid like a percentage for serving and things like, I forgot what that's called. But they lose that. So basically they went into the military to get shitted on, get shitted out, and then nothing in return. You're back at square one. You're not the same person before, and you don't get anything. And it's terrible. On the flip side, though, because I like to play both sides because there are good and bad in every situation. I say, why not send women out there to fight? I don't see really anything wrong with that. Why? Because me personally, I've met a lot of strong women. I don't mean strong like willfully or personality ones. You got some women out there that are built like Captain America, built strong, handle men just like any other man can. I've seen women beat ass to a bunch of guys when they're by themselves. Okay. There are strong, very capable women that can combat. So if you got, and just like anybody else, you got people that are hot blooded and gotta, they want to fight and they want to serve. And I say, why not? If they can take care of themselves, if they are good at handling douchebag guys and beating their ass, as well as well trained to protect themselves for all situations, then let them do it. What's the big deal? You're gonna have more people. I mean, everybody's on. I mean, conspiracy theorists see that these big places want population control and shit like that. This is one way to do it. I say let them fight. Just like I had this one theory that you got a lot of prisoners. Let them fight. They got long life sentences. Fuck it, just let them go out there, and they can decide their own fate on how they die. But yeah, I mean, you got a lot of patriot women that want to serve too. Give them a chance. I think they should have. I think, and a lot of people probably won't agree with what I say by this, but I think with the female soldiers, they should kind of separate them a little bit from the masses for their own protection from their own people. Because, like I said, there's a lot of grimy shit that go on behind the scenes there that they don't talk about. They suppress. And think about it. When it comes to army, all they do is just give all the good and how it can benefit you. You juice everybody up, and then you get in there and you're just like, God damn, what is going on here? But I say, why not? They can shoot, why not? They want to protect their families, why not? And the government's been trying to bend the Constitution so many times in other aspects. In fact, didn't many politicians say that the Constitution needed to be updated with the times? But when it comes to this, it's unconstitutional. They don't want to update with the times. Sounds very unmale heterosexual, in my opinion. Because if a lot of heterosexual men were running a show out there, I don't think they would mind more women around them. Just my opinion. But a lot of areas and situations like this where it's very misogynistic, they just prefer dicks. Gross. I don't know. I think you should let women fight. I mean, like I said, you got women bred different now. Ain't like back then when I was small and petite and damsels and shit. You got women saving men now. Shit. Let them fight. Let them pull the trigger. Why not? Carrying on. Let's talk about this. What is this that you're looking at? This is a picture, supposedly. I don't know. I found it on the internet, but this is supposed to reflect on the Wuhan Lab. And why? Because there is a 2020 report stating, the thing is, let me read it. But there's a report going around saying that there's like US documentation from 2020 that admits to saying that the coronavirus was leaked from a Wuhan lab in China. So this is times of Israel. Now I will reflect on one thing. Majority of the articles that talk about this topic, they aren't really local, or by that I mean they're not US sourced articles. A lot of these articles are sourced outside the US from what they found from looking in. Thought that might be an interesting aspect. But the US government laboratory concluded virus may have leaked from Wuhan lab report. Says a report by a U.S. government national laboratory last year on the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic concluded that it was plausible that the coronavirus originated in a laboratory in China's Wuhan and deemed the hypothesis worthy of further investigation. Wall Street Journal reported Monday. Oh, it was Wall Street, never mind. Citing people familiar with the classified document. The report was prepared in May 2020 by the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California and was referred to by the U.S. State Department during an inquiry into the pandemic's origins last year, the report said. Former official involved in the State Department inquiry told the newspaper that the study was considered to be important because the laboratory was well respected and its hypothesis differed from the prevailing theory at the time, which said the virus was initially transmitted to humans via an infected animal. The U.S. lab's assessment was based on a genomic analysis of the coronavirus carried out by its intelligence department, the report says. Yeah. Just kind of elaborates more on same shit. Come on, tech. Okay. Thanks, technology, today. Anywho, so you heard it. The U.S. government, they're pretty much saying, pretty much admitted, well, not pretty much admitted, but they have a feeling that it may have leaked from Wuhan Lab. My thing is this: when the coronavirus hit, everybody was let the truth out. Really, the truth. So, I even want us to talk about this. Uh, Lines imagination fly. When you start suppressing these things, that's when you start looking guilty about the truth. Everything like that. Excuse me, my connection's kind of weak. Sorry about that. Anyway, when it comes to the negative side of things, I don't really like articles like this sometimes because when you let articles like this fly, sometimes it's not really good to the people behind it. Let's say if it isn't true, how's this going to make Chinese people look? I talked about in many episodes that the Asian hate is at a rise. There's a lot of people that blame Asian people, like I said, not even just Chinese people, Asian people, for the cause of this. Just another point in history repeating itself of very angry people, especially at themselves in situations which they can't adapt. So they got to put that anger on somebody, and that's going to be on Asian people like that. Innocent people are going to be blamed, victimized, hurt because of shit like this. That's why they should be like trying to be more sensitive to the fact of how this can hurt other people. If it is true, I mean, tell the truth, but I don't want to see Asian people hurt because people are looking at it as if they're the enemy. And that's not right. So, that said and done, please be mindful. Also, don't hurt people. I don't get why they're admitting this now. I think there might be more evidence that they can't suppress. So they're just basically like, oh, well, we're just gonna have to fucking admit it. We're gonna look stupid, which our government sometimes do because they just step on their toes constantly. But I don't know how this is going to change the thought process of people because people be dumb. We're not very open-minded and mature when it comes to situations like this. Yeah, I'm just trying to shed light to situations on behalf that some of these articles and point of views can be more destructive than are good. I'm not saying that I'm really that different when it comes to like my views and how it can affect others. That's why I try to do both sides of the topic because there are pluses and minuses to everything. Not always the case, especially one concerning topic that I will address towards the end. But yeah, I hope this doesn't stir up more violence. I have a handful of Asian friends, mad cool with, never harm a fly, and I would hate to see them be victimized off of a stereotype, a false claim, something that doesn't even have anything to do with you personally. You know? All right. Did a nice little rant. Guys, got to give you a little break, do a little commercial, and we will be right back with the show. Stay tuned. All right, so we are back. Yes, we are back. Okay, so minor celebrity news. And I say minor because I don't really know how relevant he is. I'm not going to knock him. Let's talk about this guy. All what I'm saying is all alleged. And of course, you know, I review the sources of what I read. This guy, Drake Bell. So, why I bring him up is because he is brought in, and this is alleged, on charges of quote unquote child endangerment. This is what they're saying. And that's what gets me because they're using that terminology. So, let me bring up the article, but basically, he is brought up on charges of endangering the life of a young underage kid. The question is how? So, can I see that? Yes, you can. Former Nickelodeon star Drake Bell charged with attempted child endangerment. Attempted. The prosecutor said Jared Drake Bell starred in Nickelodeon series. Drake and Josh had also sent inappropriate social media message to a teen girl for months. Put that in quotes too. Former Nickelodeon star and singer Drake Bell is facing multiple charges in Ohio after prosecutors allege that he violated his duty of care with a 15-year-old girl who had come to his concert in 2017. Bell, who is referred to in court documents by his legal first name Jared, is facing charges of attempted endangering of children and disseminating material harmful to juveniles in relation to an incident in Ohio on December 1st, 2017, according to CBS News. Bell pleaded not guilty to the charges on Thursday before being released on $2,500 bail. That's small. The public information officer for the sorry, my pronunciation, Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office told the news outlet that the charges stem from allegations made by a juvenile who attended one of his concerts. Cleveland police alleged that Bell had established a relationship with the girl several years before the concert. Several years, okay? Several years before the concert, and has sent her inappropriate social media messages for months leading up to the concert, authorities said. Prosecutors said that while at the concert, Bell, then 31 years old, had violated his duty of care and in doing so created a risk of harm to the victim, local station WJW reports. The 15-year-old, okay, remember, it said several years, and the 15-year-old filed a police report in Canada where she lived in October 2018. Authorities there then contacted police in Cleveland who launched the investigation into the allegation. Wow. We're holding on this. Man, this guy did not quite age that well. It's all alleged. I'm gonna leave that there for a sec. All right, how should I rip this one apart? Just reading it out loud kind of smells pedo status. Is there any other real way to look at it? Um, I hope justice happens for the kid. But what gets me about this article, remember, I write my own blog articles too, do my research and everything like that. The wordplay on this article throws me off. What's the source of this? Crime News. Okay. So, what gets me first is the wordplay of this article because they said everything that alludes to something really strange happening without actually saying it. By that I mean they really played it safe on the wording of this article because they're using child endangerment and stuff. The details, and you heard me say it, the girl was 15 years old. This man is my age. He said then he was 31, so he's a little bit older than me. Same age, okay? The girl was 15 years old that filed this. It's clearly state that he had been on and off contacting this kid several years prior. Several, okay? What does several mean? Meaning that kid's probably between 10 years old and 15. A 31-year-old man, okay? I want to shed light on this because, one, parents, we're in a way where scams, pedos, all kinds of nasty, stupid, disappointing shit is happening. Parents, and when it comes to parents today, especially my age, sometimes we're very, very ignorant and neglectful when it comes to watching what our kids are looking at. By that I mean there's nothing wrong with every now and then sneaking the kid's phone and wondering, where their head's at. A lot of parents won't agree with that statement because they like, man, that's their privacy. Come on, they underage. Okay? Do they pay bills? Do they know what it's doing? I mean, just earlier I was talking about how teachers trying to teach kid masturbation stuff. You really want to leave these kids alone in their heads? Looking at influencers like this guy? And what kills me about people like this is that people like him, their core audience is kids, right? Been around kids for countless years and shit. Now, I'll be one to tell you, and I'm not saying it's him. This is all alleged. We don't know if this is conclusive or not. So I'm not going to kill anybody. I just want to bring attention to the fact that people in his position have a lot of influence with kids. Once you really win the heart and mind of a kid, it's pretty much easy to get them to do whatever. So you got a guy like this. And in my opinion, when it comes to stars, both Nickelodeon and Disney, a lot of these kid stars, they go in and come out completely messed up. I'm not going to name names, but I'm sure a handful of names come to mind. So, with that said and done, are you sure, as parents, you want to leave your kids with people like this? So, from what it looked like, and this is just my speculation, he was probably in a position where he was doing something related to, his brand. Maybe he was performing. I think they said it was performing at a concert, right? And they're saying child endangerment. So I'm thinking they left this dude in the care like a chaperone to a bunch of kids, right? Parents probably weren't even there. So within these time gaps, this guy's talking to your kid, sweet talking to them, putting all kinds of devilish shit into their brains, fucking up their brain chemistry, trying to take control to do God knows what to them. And they even reported several messages throughout the years, meaning, I don't care what nobody say. Persistent like this dude was trying to holler at a kid. Disgusting. And that ain't bad enough. I bring back again the wording of this article. I don't care what nobody says. There is a racism in this world, and there are groups that cater to races. And with that said and done, I think the law in this case, or at least people that are writing behind this, are trying to keep this man in a safe light. They said everything but the fact that, yeah, he may have been really doing this. And I know, because it's all allegations. You can't make bold statements like that. But come on, let's be realistic with this. And I do believe that because he is a white man, that his charges, I don't think they're gonna bring him. They're gonna bring the hammer on him hard. That's just my opinion. Especially with these influencers, these stars, and people with money, they find a way to get scot free from doing the shit that they do like this. And like I said, if it was anybody else, they would have hung him. They would have destroyed his name. Would have been front news all over the place. Blah blah blah. This guy, he gets all these safe words. I don't believe in that. Shoe fits, then just basically say it. All you gotta do is say it's alleged. Could be wrong, but yeah. People, watch your kids around these influencers, man, because these guys, I don't care what, I don't, be realistic. What you see on camera, like the person I am right here, is totally different from the guy that I am out there. It's hard enough for me to suppress, because me, people that know me know I'm a bit much. I'm trying to hold back a little bit on this. Mostly because YouTube be on some bullshit when they are trying to suppress what we say and things like that. So the medium that I'm trying to give, be on the lines of safe and not safe. You get the idea. But point being is, like, come on, man. Let's be realistic. Y'all know what this dude is doing. And my thing is that you guys, the society would downplay something, a situation like this, All this other stuff with hate speech, calling things for what it is all, not right. Does that make sense? I don't know. Just tell me in the comment section. That's what it's there for. I do think whether this is true or not, he's gonna get it easy. Motherfuckers like that need help. Get him to a program to help with these sick people. I'm not saying you gotta kill them off like that, even though sometimes that's the best way. At least make a program to help these people that legitimately want to be helped. You got some sick people out there. We'll move on from that because pedophiles low key piss me off. Just leave these fucking kids alone, man. Damn, the kids look like little cartoon characters to me. Why you want to do all this shit to them? Maybe shit like that happened to him. Probably why his other half on the show don't want to fuck with him anymore because maybe he did shit like this. Anyway, carrying on. We're going to talk about carpenters. Not just carpenters in general, but there was a specific podcast that got under fire for doing a specific thing that criticizing more or less. But I want to bring it up because people like me that criticize shit, I could be up in flames for the bullshit that these guys may have done. But we're gonna analyze this. So let me bring it up. All right. Take this off. All right, you guys see it. So, I'm kind of hungry. Stomach growling. I hope the mic don't catch that. Let's see. Carpenter faces 15 million lawsuit for criticizing sexual harassment comments in construction podcasts. All male podcasts talked about catcalling and potential sexual assaults. Two men who run a prominent construction industry podcast that aired remarks about catcalling and trying to grab women have filed a 15 million defamation lawsuit against the carpenter who criticized the remarks on social media. Offensive remarks were made on the Toronto-based podcast, The Construction Life, which bills itself as shedding light on the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of the industry with the goal of improving the sector. Podcast 145th episode, which features host Manny Neves, whatever, and Jim Karuk. Man, all these names are fucking weird. Our recurring guest on the show, speaking with a plumber, Danny, included the following exchange when it was posted on May 8th. Let's see. There's a lot of more like dialogue. Basically, and this is quoted by one of the two podcasters. They said, today's things are different. Like if you see a sexy woman on the streets when we were 20 years old, you whistle. Today, you even look at them, you got the cops behind you. They're charging you. It's the truth. It's ridiculous. What's going on today? Danny says. I'd still whistle. Neves responded. Yeah, but, says Danny before Carrick asked, would you whistle? I'd whistle, Neves said. I'd probably put my hand out a little bit, try to reach or something, Danny says. Laughter is heard after that, and Neves can be heard saying, I wouldn't go that far, before the men all laugh. CBC News is not publishing Danny's full name because he is not part of the legal action. The lawsuit filed in Ontario's Superior Court of Justice on Monday 28th claims that neither Neves nor Kurik, whatever his name, agreed with or condoned the comments made. That section was edited out of the podcast on May 4th, following the complaint from Natasha Fritz, the owner of Natural Carpentry. Okay, let's see. The lawsuit alleges reputation's business harm. Okay, that's where it really stems. Despite stating in a lawsuit that Fritz raised important points and apologizing to her via email, Neves, Hurricane, the company, Candelaria Pictures Corporations are now suing her for a total of Damn, 15,250,000 for posting an edited version of the exchange on her Instagram page that puts the comments next to an untrivial statistics about sexual harassment and assault. Fritz's edited version repeats chunks of the audio, specifically I'd whistle, but does not change any of the words. The men's laughter is also played multiple times. I did see what they were talking about. Yeah, down here, like on Instagram. Yeah, you get the idea. You get the idea. One thing I gotta say is like, how big is this podcast in order to be suing someone for $15 million? Y'all must be balling. I wish I was there. I did kind of listen to a bit of the podcast. Where should I start? Plus side to this is that I do believe they should crack down on sexual harassment. Shit, I was just working on a job the other day, and a big thing was I have noticed when you get hired or you do training, licenses, or anything like that, sexual harassment is a huge topic now. I don't know what's going on in the world. I don't get why people can't touch or not touch people. Like, keep your hands off of people. I don't get that, especially with coronavirus nowadays. Stop touching people. Stop salivating a mouth, expressing how you feel to anybody. I will agree with this. Back then, kind of got away with that. Now you can't. I do feel it's a tad bit extreme. Now, what they said does push the lines because they're just trying to, like me, I push the lines all the time when it comes to certain stuff. Am I going to be at risk of being sued at some point in time? I hope not. Do I regret most of the things that I may have said? Not necessarily. I mean, I do say things that put my foot in the mouth, and I try to avoid that. I do try to say things to the extent of the truth on how I feel. But I do feel on the other side like this society is a bit sensitive. You got a lot of dumb people, man. And you got a lot of dumb people that aren't really harmless. When it comes to words, they do hurt to a certain extent if you let them. Whistling, catcalling, some women like it, but a lot don't. My thing is this: the stereotype with the construction worker whistling and things like that. Yeah, it is getting kind of old. Outside of that, is it something where somebody's life needs to be destroyed? I don't think so. I kind of agree with the whole fact that she probably could have approached it a little bit different with how she felt. Maybe she could have just did a video where she like didn't really agree with it, but putting them on the spot to make them look like such a villain, I don't think that was a smart move. I don't know if $15 million is worth it because one thing is that there are way worse things to say than what they just said now. And I mean, they're probably just kidding, man. At the end of the day, it was probably just jokes. Some of y'all gotta let shit go. Like I said, I bring this up because a person like me could be in the same shoes. I probably say something, somebody put that up and be like, this asshole right here shouldn't even have attention. Now the thing is, when you do pull out lawsuits and things like this, it's just gonna channel a lot more viewers to them. Care what nobody say. Any controversy is good controversy. So when you do these things, especially how this lady approached it, she went on Instagram to promote how she felt about this. It literally just brings more viewership to them. You got to be a little bit more creative on how you approach these things. And the way she did it was trying to put them in a villainous light. Now, if I'm right, this is a Canadian broadcast. I don't know how Canada is. Never been to Canada. Some people say it's It's weak. Other people say it's dope. Free healthcare, I think there is out there. Can't be mad at that. I didn't know Canada was, I don't want to say that they're uptight, but if this was America, everybody would be like, so I don't know how Canada is when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I am learning from this that Canada don't play with that kind of shit. I think Canada's got a big construction related kind of industry out there. So maybe it is an alarming topic. So I don't know how that is over there. So I won't comment too much on that. As a US citizen, man, I hear bullshit like this every day. Women that I grew up with, even my mom in particular, like if a dude talked to him like that, whistling to him, I'm like, is to get up in the face, be like, what the fuck is your problem? Who you talking to like that? Ain't no fucking piece of me. Fuck you. Whistle at it again, see what happens. Fucking rattle the cage a little bit. Everybody's just like, no, not me. I don't like that kind of stuff. Don't do that, mommy. Say no. Grow some nuts. Let them know how it is. Sometimes life lessons are to be learned, and it doesn't necessarily have to involve money or posting a video for attention. Take the motherfucker in the back room. Tell them like it is. Be like, hey, I didn't like that shit. I don't fucking like that. If you don't want me to pursue further with it, you either edit that bullshit out or you're going to hear more from me. Big deal. Talk it out. Unless these dudes were dickheads long before this happened and you just wanted to pull the trigger because you feel something personal long before that happened, which it does happen sometimes. Shit, you could have been working for them and be like, man, these are some misogynistic dickheads. I don't like them, and when I get the opportunity, I'm going to ruin their shit. Sometimes that happens. But honestly, especially with women, now, like, don't be afraid to speak up. You want your voices heard, but situations, especially small ones, just check the dude. Pull him aside, like, hey, nobody like that. I sue your ass. Like, there's more than one way. There's many ways to scare a dude. That's all. That's just how I feel. I hope that I don't get put in a situation like that, but considering my mouth, my views, how I am, especially my whole life, shit, man, I'm prepared for anything. But just like them, if something like that happened with me, definitely use that shit for clout. People don't know how to play the game. Just help that dude out, that podcast. Yeah. All right. And for our final topic now, because we are hitting an hour, try not to do these things too long because people got short attention spans. Just kidding, but not. Let's talk about this Medal of Honor douchebag right here. Does anybody know who this guy is that Trump is putting this medal on? Don't worry, I will read it to you. But basically, this guy, his name is Arthur Laffer. Interesting name considering the situation of what I'm about to talk about. But this guy said the other day that minorities shouldn't get $15 an hour. And he said it boldly. And I'm going to read the article. This is from Vice News. Trump's favorite economist, sorry, I can't pronounce shit, just said minorities aren't worth $15 an hour. And I'm like, that's pretty damn bold to be saying. Okay. Arguably the most important conservative economist for the last 50 years, damn, old bastard, went on television on Tuesday to argue that the poor, people of color, and other marginalized people aren't worth $15 an hour. How bold. Art Laffer, economist in the Reagan White House. If you know who Reagan is, yeesh, and I'll get into that, appeared on Fox News to discuss the terrifying prospect of raising the minimum wage for fast food workers to somewhere above the poverty line. Okay. Laffer is the brains behind supply side or trickle down economics, which has been Republican orthodoxy since the Reagan administration, is a namesake of the Laffer curve. Really? He's got a whole curve named after him. The Tuesday segment centered around last week's news that fast food giant McDonald's is testing automated drive-through ordering at Chicago area restaurants, which I've been seeing around. The future's coming, people. We're gonna start ordering. I mean, we're already ordering online, but they're gonna have automatic services, like basically, you know how you see self-checkout kiosk in grocery stores and stuff like that. That's gonna be like that in restaurants and stuff like that to pretty much eliminate the whole middleman of people being cashiers and shit like that, which to some extent I don't agree on, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah. So he quoted, for those people who are coming into labor workforce, brand fresh, not old timer who's been around for a while, the poor, the minorities, the disenfranchised, those with less education, young people who haven't been in the job experience, these people aren't worth $15 an hour in most cases, Laffer said. Wow. Laffer then portrayed fast food jobs as a sort of apprenticeship rather than difficult, demanding jobs in and of themselves. In reality, just 30% of fast food workers are teenagers, a 2013 analysis by the Center for Economics Policy and Research found. He also continues saying, when you have a $15 an hour minimum wage, don't get the first workers don't get the first job, they don't get the requisite skills to earn above the minimum wage, and after a few years they become unemployable, and after they become unemployable they become hostile. This is a bold asshole right here to be saying some shit like that. Obviously someone's never been touched. I love the technology, but the technology is replacing jobs for these people, and it's a killer for people who need the help the most. Laffer's comments understandably drew immediate outrage on Twitter. Wonder why. Let's rip this dude apart real quick. I mean, they're like a big picture of him. Like, nope. Well, forget it. Anyway, you heard what I said. This guy. First off, he said he's been an economist since Reagan was in office. And if anybody who's my age or older know that Reagan fucked up those communities that he's talking about, especially colored communities, with his war on drugs. Now, this conspiracy that, the drugs were implanted in those communities, which started and furthered the downfall of those communities, is why in the 80s and post 90s, crack boom was so nuts. And when they were planted with these drugs in these poor communities, because whether you see them as bad or not, people in tough positions that don't have money and things like that can be desperate sometimes. And I'm not saying doing all the drugs solves your problem, but when you give up on life and turn to that, yeah, that destroys a community, especially if it's been planted. And Reagan approached it from a militia standpoint instead of maybe doing more self-help programs to combat this stuff and everything like that. His reign over the college community was devastating, whether you want to believe it or not. Nixon before him was no better. Okay, they went really hand in hand. Nixon basically tossed the volley up, and Reagan spiked it into the goal. Okay, so you got the economist, who's supposed to be the statistic standpoint on that aspect of those communities. They were basically like best friends. So when I heard him say this, I'm not surprised because of his origins and where he came from. People like this have been so out of touch and out of the bubble in their rich airspace, just soaking in and enjoying life and things like that. Like, they don't understand us humans down here. So to say those things, one, you're pretty confident that nothing's going to happen to you because shit, if you were a little bit more grounded, somebody will find you. Um, I can tell that he's such a so proud of his standpoint on things like this. My thing is with rich people like this is that are you giving away your money? Is raising this minimum wage going to cut back on your pay? Is it going to stop the endorsements behind you? All the other means of how you collect money, whether it's campaigning, funds, donations, and shit like that? Is raising minimum wage going to prevent you from getting your bag? Now, the thing is that he talks as if poor people or people in a fast food market are nothing but a bunch of scoundrels with no intent of bettering themselves, prone to hostile behavior once they lose the job. And that is an asshole thing to say. A lot of people in that industry that probably needed an extra couple of hours because you, the economist, didn't figure out how to make other more meaningful, respectable jobs, in your opinion, pay more or allow more hours. So they had to pick up a shift. Or you got people that may have been down and out in life, and that's the only job that they're able to find because your system has forced them in a corner to where they can't even better themselves. For a guy like this that's been in this game for 50 years, I'm pretty sure he's heard something on the lines like that and probably just shrugged and turned away from that kind of shit. Because deep down, assholes, especially racist assholes like him, don't believe in trying to strengthen the economy of those people that don't look like him. And it's pretty crystal clear. But my thing is that don't downplay these people. And I'll be the next person to tell you, like, some of these people came into these worlds with nothing on their side. So fast food was the immediate preference to get these jobs. As an economist, I'm pretty sure he's seen the statistics of the downfall of a lot of things. His statement, he deep down doesn't want to see better lifestyles for people. And to contradict what he says, if you do raise it to $15 an hour, maybe these people can better their lives so they don't show you how hostile they are because of the bullshit pay. Anger doesn't stem just from ignorance and hot-bloodedness and just being mad all the time. It stems from somewhere. And you think these comments are gonna make it any better? No. I don't believe in statements like this, especially with people that is the go-to when it comes to supposedly understanding this. What kills me about people in general is that you trust people in these positions so much that you don't want to second guess them. You don't want to correct them. You don't want to be like, hey, maybe we should try something different. And they just go along with it, like, yeah, I want to keep my check too. Rich staying rich, poor being poor. That's basically the premise of his thought behind all this. And I don't like this shit. And for the people that don't believe on how these rich people don't care and how they're trying to downplay us, this is a clear example. And I see on social media all the time, they're like, man, raising $15 an hour will definitely destroy. Our economy is already destroyed. Don't you forget this supposed debt that some conspiracy believe don't really exist. But if you do believe in it, because a lot of yes men, Uncle Toms are into it, you guys side with these people like that. And my thing is this: you're not of the rich bracket like that. Unless you're of the rich bracket, the fuck difference does it mean to you? You already accomplished, right? You being mad because of shit like this. The people that believe in that don't believe in this community. And this is the community that is fucking serving your food on your lunch breaks and shit. Then they want to go around saying like, "Oh, the people in these industries aren't happy and they're terrible at stuff." Yes, because you got assholes like this that are insensitive to their fucking feelings. They people too. And like they say, if you want people to value their work, value them more so they can value the setting a lot better. Because a lot of them don't feel valued. Fucking got to deal with all kinds of assholes at the cash register talking all kinds of shit to you, saying because yeah, you fucking added something on their fucking perfect burger that they didn't want and they want to throw it in your face. People are frustrated with other people in that aspect. COVID really put that bubble big. My thing is this: why are you talking shit to these people that are serving your food like that? I try hard not to get out of line with people serving my food. Why? Because I don't want my shit spitted on. They serving yo shit. Don't be surprised when you be acting more sick after you a dickhead. Seen a lot of videos, especially on TikTok, of people just going nuts, spazzing out off of dumb bullshit, waiting a little too long than usual. The order might be slightly wrong. Maybe they got a little overcharged. Yeah, okay, it's concerning. Was it worth throwing drinks at workers' faces, cussing them out in their face? Just showing absolute no consideration to the fact that they in a fucking hot ass kitchen trying to steamroll through all these orders at lunchtime for your ass. But you think because of your status that you mean more. Country built on equality, my ass. But yeah, why? Never understood hyping up rich people. I can give a shit. That could care less about you. Just like how people be hyping up celebrities and stuff. You don't know how these people are behind doors. You don't know where all their money are funding. A lot of these funding corporations they put money into, they get it back. So for people that are staying afloat more than anybody else with money and things like that, shut up. You got yours. Can anybody else get their bag? Or is it the fear of seeing someone that don't look like you persevere to do better than? The chance of them looking and being happier than you. Because you ain't got to have a whole lot of money to be happy. But there's a lot of people that have a lot of money that are very unhappy and they feel that by making these people suffer or anybody around you, that makes them feel better. And that's a spiritual thing. They fucked up. So yeah, fuck shit like this. He's fucking with Reagan. You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever happened to Logic? Got my little fucking advertisement bar down there. But yeah, ridiculous. I don't understand what it is about people not trying to be considerate of others. I mean, shoot, in my 30 years of living, one thing I can say is that I don't understand what hard it is to try to understand others, how they feel in their shoes. I don't know. I think it's really like they don't care to. What's the big deal? Why waste my energy on some hopeless shit like that? Caring. A lot of people treat caring and being sympathetic as a waste of time. But then when it comes around to them, they want to be hypocrites. Oh, I should get all the help. No. All my life, one thing I will say is that it's hard for many individuals to put yourself in other people's shoes. Maybe I just had a semi decent education system to teach me how to put yourself in other people's shoes and understand from their point of view. But then again, that's the basis of my platform. People that get away with murder say shit like this. Anyway, we're gonna take a little break. Then we're gonna do our closing. So let's check out. All right, we back. Okay, in conclusion, you don't know me by now. I'm Deviant Dave. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, other stuff, but it's down there. But you can find me on social media. It's usually underscore Deviant underscore Dave. So yeah, you can follow me. But more importantly, follow FussAid for me. Also, just so you get your updates on what's next. FussAid has a lot of different things. It could be the future, and I want it to be the future to help other people in a way that people may not be used to traditionally, but needs to be addressed. So yeah, follow me on social media. Also, if you like what I do, you want me to improve, do better, go the mile, maybe you just love me. You can go on FussAid and you can donate. It's a Stripe portal, good gateway, secure gateway. You don't even have to do a whole lot. You can donate as much as you want, from just simple dollar to, something more if you want. You don't have to. It's just all those proceeds goes to all more equipment, better quality, better everything, more entertainment for you. You know what I mean? So if you like what I do, you can go there and donate. But other than that, make sure you go to FussAid.com, check it out. It's a blog, there are graphics, and there are videos and much more to come. Just check it out. It's pretty dope. I approve it, of course. But I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you enjoyed your episode. Be sure to comment on the video as well as going on FussAid and commenting your views. It's all anonymous. Don't worry. Just be wary about what you post on there. You don't want to give out information you don't want. It's all free. And it helps me from a statistical standpoint to know what you guys like, dislike, what I can do to improve, what I should keep, so forth. So when you had time, check out FussAid.com. Follow it, live, love, and I'm out of here.